So fall just hit a few days ago, and everyone is running around getting their fall sewing plans together. Well, you know, for my season, we don't have a fall. However, I'm gonna show you a 12-piece effortless and lazy way to put together a fall capsule wardrobe. So if that's some content you would like to see, please continue to watch. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. It's your girl Rochelle from Rochelle.Handmade.Designs. In this video, I'm gonna keep it short, sweet, and to the point, like you guys like it, and I'm going to be sharing with you guys a 12-piece effortless and lazy way that you could put together a beautiful fall capsule wardrobe. Now, I'm gonna be sharing 12 pieces with you, and some of these pieces repeat, okay? So, without further ado, let's go ahead and get into it. But if you are new to the channel, welcome. Hello, Ciao, Guten, Aloha, Hola, Konnichiwa, Gwaan, Sabonani, Shalom, Bonjour, Terve. Hey, if you are returning, you guys know what to do. Quick snack, something to drink. Grab a quick notebook so you could go ahead and take down some notes. And make sure you grab a snack and beverage of choice. So without further ado, to keep this video short, sweet, to the point, give you all the deets and the news that you can use on this video, let's go ahead and get into it. Starting with item number 1. Let's talk about an animal print blouse. Now, I'm going to be putting up inspiration up on the screen to give you an idea, but I'm also going to be sharing some patterns with you as well. Not many patterns, because a lot of these patterns I have shared before. So let's talk about the first one, being New Look 6790. Now, you guys know that I shared this pattern during the drop of the not so attractive New Look patterns for fall 2024. Now, the reason why I'm putting this on there is because you can get Vogue 8772 as well for the blouse. Now, I'm gonna say animal print blouse simply because it just seems like animal print is always in style no matter what the season may be, and this could be that print that you need to put in your fall wardrobe. All right, now there's so many patterns that you can use in order to get an animal print blouse. And of course, with the animal print blouse, I'm gonna say a button-down shirt as well. So therefore, you need both an animal print blouse and a button-down shirt. Just use whatever pattern suits your fancy, whether it's two of my favorite, Simplicity 1538, Simplicity 9707, plus size is 9708. Or you could actually use, you know, any of the button-down shirts that you have in your wardrobe, all right? So let's go ahead and get into the next item, being an aviator jacket, or you could call it a flight jacket, or you could literally call it a bomber jacket. Now, I'm only gonna give you one pattern because you guys know, you guys have been asking me to do this pattern. I am gonna be doing this pattern. It's coming up on the channel relatively soon. I don't wanna say when because there is a whole theme behind the bomber jacket that I'm going to be bringing to you guys in November. All right, so with that being said, I'm going to say some people call it AVIATOR, someone said aviator, some people call it flight jacket, some people call it bomber jacket. Now, I like to call it a bomber jacket. The pattern that I'm thinking about is Simplicity 8418. Now, during the fall, I love to do a bomber jacket. It is no secret. I have like 4 of them in my wardrobe. Simplicity 8418 happens to be one of my favorite patterns to use for a bomber jacket. Now, one thing about this bomber jacket, you can make it in so many different prints. You can make it in leather, suede, many different prints of your choosing. Now, for me, I don't know what fabric I'm going to use. I know one fabric will be Ankara because it's already cut out. The other fabric that I'm going to be using is still up in the air if I want a solid or a settle fall print. Stay tuned for that as well. All right, so let's get into item number 3. So item number 3 is, of course, a turtleneck, okay? And the turtleneck that I am thinking about, I'm gonna say Mimi G's pattern. So Mimi G has a Georgia PDF pattern that I have talked about before on this channel. She also has several different patterns that you could do for a turtleneck. One being from her book, Make It Yours with Mimi G, which I actually made something from her book during the live with my girl Diana from 26 by Diana. Sunday, we were live. Last Sunday, as a matter of fact, we were live and we did a complete, talk and chat or whatnot, beat the clock. And I'm just going to say that neither one of us beat the clock because I still had the ruffles to do. And it's crazy because we sewed 2 different patterns. However, even sewing those 2 different patterns, we had the same elements in both of our garments, which was fantastic. And I will be having Diana back on the channel for another Beat the Clock at a later time, all right? Because she wants to redeem herself and I could understand that as well. But it was super fun. If you missed that live, I'm going to put it down in the description box below so you could get to that, as well as on the end screen. So stay tuned for that as well. So another pattern that you could use for a turtleneck is an older pattern by Mimi G. You can still find this pattern on eBay, Etsy, or Amazon, and that pattern is Simplicity 1283. Now this pattern came out, this is actually her first pattern that came out with Simplicity when she did 1276 and 1283. I'm going to put both of them up on the screen so you're able to see that as well. But I have this pattern. I have not sewn this pattern yet. This pattern literally needs to be on my list for 2025. Why? Because this is a badass pattern. I'm serious. Like, I have seen this pattern made up so many times over the years, okay? And I know Mimi G's been with Simplicity since I believe 2014, like fall 2014 into fall 2015. I think it's actually fall 2014 when this pattern dropped. So it's 10 years old. So let's celebrate the 10-year anniversary of this pattern right now. You're welcome. And one other pattern I'm going to give you for a turtleneck is Simplicity 8959. Now this pattern also Mimi G. Now to be honest, I have this pattern, but when I first thought about this pattern, it was for the vest. I made that vest. I didn't like it, so I did not share it on the pattern. It's just because with this pattern, it was more of kind of like that business lady, right? So if you're going into an office every single day, like Mumu, then this pattern could definitely be for you. It just did not work for me, but I will say definitely try the turtleneck from this pattern. All right, so let's go ahead and get over to the next item. And the next item is, I already talked to you guys about a white button-down shirt. And with the white button-down shirt, I'm just going to give you 3 patterns, one being Simplicity 1538, Vogue 8772, and then the other one I'm going to give you is Butterick 6852. So with those 3 patterns, I'm just giving you all 3 patterns because you could choose what white button-down shirt. Now, I have 2 white button-down shirts in my wardrobe that I made. One is in a linen and then one is just kind of like a poplin fabric that I picked up from Fashion Fabric Clubs online as well. I know you guys have asked me, kind of like, hey, Rochelle, where do you get your fabric? So there's tons of fabric stores that you can shop online. Girl Charlie is another one. So there's tons of them. I'll put a list together and kind of like link to it at another time, and I'll share that in an upcoming video as well. So before we get into the next item, let me tell you what I have on before you guys comment below and say, what's that jacket you have on? So this is a jacket that I made doing hashtag BHM Pattern Designer, which is Black History Month Pattern Designers, hosted by the lovely Natita from So Natural Dane. She hosts this. This will be coming up on the 6th year that she have hosted BHM Pattern Designers Challenge. Now, she normally has a retreat. I think she's doing it every other year, but the retreat is going on in Houston, Texas next year in 2025. Okay, so yes, you definitely want to be a part of that. If you cannot, I'll link to So Natural Dane in the description box below. Make sure you go to her page. I think it's sonaturaldane.com or bhmpatterndesigner.com. I'll put it in the description box below so you're able to go to that as well. But yes, I sewed this in 2021, I believe. And the pattern is McCall 7635 for that pattern. It's just a waterfall jacket. And I have mentioned this before that Brittany J. Jones have a complete, she did all the views on that pattern, and I think it's like $29.99 or $39.99 for that pattern. But once again, it's McCall's 7635. And I'll go ahead and put it up on the screen so you're able to see that as well. So the next item is a gray sweater. Now, I'm only gonna give you two patterns because one of the patterns is like an oversized sweater and the other one is just kind of like a regular size sweater. Now, you could buy a gray sweater for $2 and save you some coins of not making it. But because we sew, you may wanna make it. Now, for me, I know I'm not gonna make a sweater simply because it doesn't get hot like that. So it's just easier for me, moi, to just go ahead and buy a $2 sweater when they're on sale at Joann's and just kind of like, you know, take a Cricut or, you know, I don't use a Cricut machine anymore. And, you know, I could just put something on there, order my, you know, vinyl from my cousin who also does all of my shirts, by the way, and get that made, okay? So with that being said, I'm gonna give you two patterns. First pattern being Mimi G Simplicity 9450, I believe is that pattern. And that's just a basic standard sweater that you can do as well. Now, the second pattern I'm gonna give you is both Mimi G and Norris is on this pattern. It's super oversized. It's Simplicity 9897 for that pattern. And that pattern, you could definitely do an oversized. If you want it baggy, saggy, whatever you want to call it, you could definitely do that oversized sweater. Now, the next item that I'm going to say that you need in this fall capsule wardrobe, effortless and lazy, by the way, is a bias cut skirt. Now, I'm going to definitely give you two patterns that you could use. The first one being with my girl Shelly when she did Hot Girl Summer for New Look Patterns. And the pattern is New Look 6623. Now, this pattern is a very, very easy to sew. Let me say it one more time. Easy to sew pattern, New Look 6623. Now, if you are not feeling New Look patterns or you are out of the New Look pattern size range, because we all know that New Look patterns run a little bit on the misses side. Well, it's not a little bit, it's a lot on the misses side. And a lot of us may be out of those New Look patterns and don't feel like sizing up. So another pattern that you could use is McCall's 7931. Mimi G has a complete sew along of this purple bias cut skirt on her channel. Go ahead and check the description box below in order to get to that sew along, all right? Next item, let's talk about the off-white knit dress. Now this one, I'm going to give you two patterns for this one as well. So the first one, both of them is Mimi G pattern. One is an older Mimi G pattern from, I want to say 2015, maybe 2016. Don't shoot me, but you may be able to find this pattern on Mimi G website. So actually, instead of the dress, I'm gonna say a tunic, off-white knit tunic, all right? And the pattern that I'm thinking of is Simplicity 1019. Now, I made this pattern a super long time ago, and I feel like I'm going to pull this pattern out again pretty soon, so stay tuned for that. But the reason why I chose this pattern is because you can make this in off-white, but you could also make it in stripes. You could also make it in a color block as well, like you see on the pattern. So this is a very versatile pattern that you could put in your fall wardrobe. Now this pattern, a lot of people probably missed out on this pattern when it first came out, because it came out and then probably like 2 years later, it was out of print. So if you haven't been sewing, I'm gonna say for at least 8 years, you probably missed out on this pattern. However, you can go to eBay, Etsy, or Amazon to try to see if you could get this pattern. Now, I'm not gonna say it's gonna be cheap, but if you really want this pattern, you could also hack a different pattern to achieve the same look for this one, all right? Another pattern that I'm gonna give you for this, you can make it a tunic if you would like. You could definitely use Mimi G's Make It Yours book, the tee and extended, or you could use Simplicity 9701. So that one is kind of like a U-shaped style dress, but of course you can hack it and, you know, cut it up and make it a tunic as well, all right? But once again, that's Simplicity 9701. Getting over to the next item is an olive sweater knit dress. Olive is like a really good color for fall, number one. And then it doesn't have to be olive, but it could just definitely just be like a deep hunter green. And I think that is more of like a nice autumn color, which is why I'm giving you autumn colors as well. But let's talk about the knit dress. So one of the patterns, of course, I'm not trying to make this a Mimi G complete video, but she does have some good patterns that you probably overlooked. So one of the patterns, also easy to sew, Simplicity 8334. Now this pattern right here came out a very long time ago. I want to say in 2016, 2017. It just have kind of like some buttons that you go up the front, a slit on the side, super easy to sew. Many ladies have sewn this dress as well. So yeah, it's Simplicity 8334. Another one, also Mimi G, and this one is 8174. Super easy to sew. You can put a hood on it. It has a kangaroo pocket in the front. I love this for us, okay? So this one would definitely be another pattern that you could use to achieve that olive sweater knit dress. Getting over to the next item is a RUGBY shirt. And you guys, this pattern just came out and I was like, yes, I have to put this on the list for that 12-piece effortless and lazy fall capsule wardrobe. So the pattern that I'm thinking of, and yes, I do have my notes, is Simplicity 9614. And this one just came out, I want to say during the fall drop of Simplicity patterns. You guys know I already mentioned this. My daughter loves this. Now, I have not worn a RUGBY shirt since I was probably in middle school, okay? And you guys know how old I am. But I think this would be a really good top to put in a wardrobe. Throw on some jeans, throw on some leggings. You can put it with a trouser. You can put it with a denim skirt. So there's many ways that you can wear this shirt. So that would be item number 9. Let's get over to item number 10. And this is an accessory to put all of your items in. Being a bowler style bag, okay? Or what I like to call the weekender bag, okay? And that's where you could just put a 3-day overnight stay in a bowler style bag. Just fold up your clothes really nice and you're good to go, all right? Now, I'm gonna give you some patterns that you could pick up on Etsy, but I'm also gonna give you one like big 5 pattern as well. So the big 5 pattern first is Simplicity 9935. That pattern came out towards the summertime of this year. Now, for this pattern, they're gonna call it like a pickleball style bag. But if you get rid of that little pickleball rack, you know, that little racket area, you could definitely score you a weekender bag with that pattern. In addition to that, Swan Sewing Patterns have a Betty bowler bag that you could get. I think that pattern is roughly about $14.99 on Etsy. So you could definitely see this pattern. You could go to Etsy. I'm gonna have it linked in the description box below. So you're able to see that. And if you are interested in purchasing it, you can as well. One other pattern is, the last pattern for that one is an Annie pattern, and it's called Bowl Me Over 2.0. And that pattern right there, I believe it's $9.99 on Etsy. Now, let me say this. I do not have either one of the Etsy patterns. However, I am leaning towards the Swoon pattern one, the Betty bowler for this one, even though I do have the Simplicity pattern already. All right. I think, you know, just get different versions of different pattern to see which one you like the best. All right. But those are your 3 bowler style bags. Next item, item number 11, a pair of trousers. Now, I'm only going to give you 2 patterns, but I would say definitely make these trousers elasticated, right? No one has time for, you know, I'm saying no one have time for it, but y'all know I like a fly front zipper on my trousers. That's just me, but I do like elasticated ones as well. So one of the first patterns I'm gonna give you is Mimi G pattern that she just dropped for, I wanna say winter of this year, winter 2024. And that pattern is Simplicity 3036. I just feel like these wide leg style trousers would be amazing to do in a wardrobe. Now, she did it in purple. If I was to do it, I would probably do it in that purple or like a deep maroon style color. I think that would be cute as well. Just make sure that you make it fall and it's cohesive to the items that you are already putting in your fall wardrobe. I would definitely say do a color palette of like 3 to 4 colors and then go with those colors as well. That's how I do my color palette as well. All right. You guys have heard me say this. I have a complete video on, you know, color analysis. And I think that video, I'm going to put it up right here, was about how you can build a wardrobe by looking at items in a retail store and then just figure out what sewing patterns that you want to do. So I'm going to put that video up here so you're able to see it. Drop it in the description box below so you could go to that and then see the colors that I say. If you take the color wheel, you could get a secondary color. You could get a different colors, anonymous. You could get contemporary colors. You could get a lot of different colors that you didn't even know that falls into the color wheel. If you just mix a little bit of this, a little bit of that, the tones, the hues, and everything else in between. All right, let's get over to the last pattern that I'm gonna give you for a pair of trousers, which is Simplicity 9925. Now, the reason why I picked this one is we know that cardigan is easy to sew. We know the one shoulder top, easy to sew. I think that's 3 pattern pieces. I think the cardigan is like 2 pattern pieces. But the pants is super wide legs, and I feel like it would be a good pair of trousers as well. If you did not skip out on this pattern, shh, don't say nothing, but you still have time to get it as well. And the last item, item number 12, would be a pair of blue or black jeans, or you could do both, blue and black jeans, really. But the reason why you need that is because blue jeans pairs very well with other items. If you are not a fan of blue jeans like myself, I'm not a big fan of jeans to begin with. You can use jeggings, leggings, whatever you like. Even if you don't wear any jeans, period, you could put another pair of like ankle pants. You could do like a skirt, whatever suits your fancy. All right. Well, those are all 12 pieces of what I feel are 12 essential pieces that's effortless and lazy to build your fall capsule wardrobe. Well, that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed. And if you enjoyed content like this, continue to stay tuned to the channel. Give me a double thumbs up. Subscribe if you have not done so already. But let's keep this video and conversation going in the comment section below. Let me know what items from this list were your favorite and that you will try, including the patterns that you would try from this list that I gave you. Well, that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed, and stay tuned for my next video where I'm gonna tell you how I lost my sojo and the 8 wins that I took to get it back. Until next time. Keep sewing. Man, when I chat and chit, I come through like what's good, these wigs hit and split. Man, better breeze and sprint. It's long if I choose to bite down on these pricks. X is a lyrical 4-4 and this, so make sure it's X that you wanna rally with. Oh, make a big man turn to a kid. Shout out skull when I slat out wigs. Never seen X's with your eyes closed, don't move past girls behind your eyelid. Bars and flows, check out their mixture.